Hey YouTube, welcome to another video. It's going to be coverage of BeastMode and Daniel in 2v2 at Gamers 8. Gamers 8 had all three game types if you weren't watching. Big prize pool, so we got to see everybody trying their hardest in these unique modes. And we already looked at Rw9, who was undefeated in 1v1. And if you're wondering who was undefeated in 2v2, I believe the only team that was is Daniel in BeastMode that we're watching right now. Version 1 did end up going to win the tournament, and I think it's unsurprising that the two teams in the final had players who were unbeatable in certain modes. In this case, BeastMode and Daniel had a free win every time they played 2v2, and part of that is because BeastMode is so nasty. He hits a nice double to start it off for his team, but another reason why is because kickoffs went very well, especially in these two games that we're going to be covering today with BeastMode and Daniel. They had not only a lot of good kickoff strategies, but even when they played a more standard style, a standard that you might find when you queue up with a random in ranked and you're not going to take any risks, just go try and win the kickoff. Even those were paying off for BeastMode and Daniel, which I think can be a big part of your success and something that they proved that they could do consistently. Probably because they do a good amount of mixing up, but we're going to look into how BeastMode and Daniel play 2v2s to get an idea of what makes them the best duo in the world, which I think is safe to say, although we've only really had best of ones. I think everyone would love to see a best of 7 between these two guys that are playing right now, these two teams, because trk and Nwpo, probably one of the best duos. They won the Ranked Royale 2v2, which had everybody. I think Zen didn't have a teammate in that one, but even when they've played show matches in the past, I think they've shown they've had the edge over Zen, plus anyone he would like to add. So I do think a matchup between these two would be a matchup for best in the world. And of course, these are only best of ones, but it did go in favor of BeastMode and Daniel. So anyways, all that to be said, BeastMode, when he was interviewed about why him and Daniel were so good as a 2v2 team, he thinks one of the reasons why is Daniel is such a natural defensive player. By the way, we're watching from Daniel's perspective, if you haven't already picked up on that, because he always has been. Ever since he joined the RLCS scene, or even the 6-mans before he was old enough, you could tell his style was one where he felt most comfortable playing as the last back, feeling like he could control the game from there, and specifically air dribbling out of last back in order to get his team out of defense is a very common Daniel strategy. BeastMode, though, on the other hand, claims to love to be very aggressive, wants to stay on the ball constantly, and makes for a good teammate with Daniel. Daniel is going to dive in this crucial moment, though. I think one thing that's really important and Daniel does a good job of showing is, even though we do think he's playing defensive, doesn't mean he's just camping back and waiting for free opportunities for the duo to strike against him. Just means playing generally reserved and taking safe decisions. So that could mean challenging all the way in the orange half as the last back, because there might be a brief moment in which that's the time it makes the most sense in order to stop them. In fact, talking about challenging and not challenging, Daniel here doesn't challenge and lets trk go to work, and maybe should have. So now BeastMode and Daniel are down, but BeastMode slightly losing this kickoff into the blue half. Daniel playing very reserved, didn't even drive forward. Didn't grab boost. I think you'll see a lot of that from BeastMode and Daniel. On occasion, they have that second go and grab boost, but a ton of times you'll see that they just stick around to try and make a play or even cheat up. I want to go back for a slight moment and see how this Spanish got beat, because a lot of people complain about Spanish. So let's just go look and see how BeastMode just did it. He got Spanish kicked off, which is when the front player fakes the ball and then just goes to demo the person behind. Often it leads to goals, and BeastMode maybe we just got a bit fortunate. he kicked the ball off slightly to the right and then ended up demoing trk, and that kept them alive. But maybe something to think about if you're getting Spanished. Try and see if you can just demo that last back. Or maybe the way BeastMode's flipping through the ball is a way that is a bit more reliable to avoid the Spanish, because even though this is just one case, like I said, this duo proved to be able to handle just about everybody. I say just about, I don't know why. They handled everybody. They didn't lose. Sorry, let's go back to Daniel's perspective for this game. We'll switch over to BeastMode for the second match, which is the one that happened in the grand finals against the Twins. Right now, Daniel and BeastMode up 2. And Daniel recognizing BeastMode has the back wall and that he just needs to go and make some kind of challenge. In fact, I think he needs to do that again. You know, we saw him do that a second ago. And here, he seems afraid to challenge. Maybe because he doesn't want to miss. Remember, this is land. This is huge stakes. BeastMode mentioned that he was actually most nervous playing the 2v2, not even the 1v1. So there might be a lot of nerves here. But yeah, Daniel making the mistake of not going out to challenge there. He had BeastMode on the back wall. Just needed to make the shot a little bit easier for BeastMode to handle. This time, Daniel very clearly playing keep away. There's Nightly Block 1 inviting me to play again. I don't know if you guys remember that story. Nightly Block 1. Love that guy. Played with him already, though. Not going to be able to play today. Long shot from Daniel. Forcing a save. He is going to turn in field to try and handle BeastMode's touch. Very smart to not back off, even though there's not really a shot opportunity. Make sure he's in control of the play. And oh my goodness, BeastMode, what a save. TRK and Nwpo so close to equalizing. Daniel playing the passive defensive role this time, which does seem to be where they work out better. BeastMode challenging. 7 seconds left to go, or 4 seconds left to go. 7 boosts left in the tank. And BeastMode just has to make one last save, and it'll hit the ground. So Daniel and BeastMode had their toughest matchup yet. Looked like when we watched from Daniel's perspective, he definitely was around in defense a bit more, and I think maybe a bit slow, probably because of nerves. Maybe could have stopped a few more TRK Nwpo goals, but it doesn't matter. He let BeastMode go to work, let BeastMode feel comfortable. And let's go watch from BeastMode's perspective as they play the second best duo, according to the EU tournament, when Rw9 and Kiileerrz. I wanted to watch one of the games from Daniel's perspective because it is important to note that Daniel is half of this amazing duo, but there's no question that at Gamers 8, the star of the duo was BeastMode, including the fact that he ended up playing some of the ones just to add to it even more. But BeastMode had everybody clamoring with his performance in this tournament. So let's see what makes him so great. Right now, him and Daniel doing a great job of passing. One fake into an infield pass. The patience from BeastMode as he outplays both. Daniel is going to get awarded with the goal, but very clearly BeastMode doing a lot of the hard work there. Daniel taking the kickoff so far in this match. BeastMode being a pest as he knows Daniel is not going to be up for something like that. Daniel will stay grounded, stay as their security blanket. BeastMode can do whatever he wants upfield if he wants to try and immediately turn and jump on the ball. Potential ceiling challenge to try and get Rw9 down to the ground. He did convince him to do so. And we again see BeastMode almost challenging from slightly behind the play. Something that is necessary to do in order to make Daniel's life easier. And what a challenge from the ceiling. Rw9, though, ready for it. No boost for BeastMode. Finally forced back. For the first moment, he hasn't been leading the charge. And Daniel is able to force the twins to hand the ball right back to him. BeastMode, with the last bit of boost he has, able to win out that favorable 50. Rw9 and Kiileerrz the fake. This time, Daniel able to cover, and you could see the difference in playstyle maybe even right there. I think if you switch positions, Daniel stays grounded. He just tries to stay as calm as possible when BeastMode's in front. In this case, they both double committed to make that save. But Daniel gets a very convenient double, is the way I would put it. If you watch that from his perspective, you know, to be fair, these guys' brains certainly work faster than mine, but I'm not sure that he would be able to get that read. Now neutral kickoff. I think, wait, let's go back here, sorry. I want to say, yes, this is the kickoff I was talking about earlier. All right, future Feer here, because I realized that I actually had not talked about this kickoff in this take, but I wanted to cover it really quick because I feel like it was a kickoff that we saw a lot in 2v2 and one that I hadn't necessarily seen before. So if we play it out, what Daniel and BeastMode are trying to do on this diagonal is Daniel is trying to lose to the back left corner. Something that you see a lot from other positions, specifically positions where one person is in the diagonal and one person is back, but this is when both are in the double diagonal. And I think Rw9 and Kiileerrz generally trying to do it as well. If you watch from their perspective, Kiileerrz cheating at midfield and kind of prepping for a win or loss to the left. The difference is Rw9 tries much harder to win it. If you watch from his perspective, he isn't trying to fully lose it in this case. He is flipping directly into the ball, and you watch Daniel, when him and BeastMode are doing it, and I think other teams are doing this as well, he is very clearly trying to lose it as he goes right on the right side of the ball and side flips into it. That is the behavior of someone who's almost hoping that the ball gets pushed back into the corner. And what happens here is BeastMode stays a bit more midfield and a bit more behind the play and is much quicker to be able to take a shot than Kiileerrz, who actually cheated really close, especially considering he was expecting a Rw9 win. Maybe he was hoping Rw9 wins and he could cheat up right away. But this duo, or this kickoff, was used a lot by BeastMode and Daniel, and it's one that I think you only really see from teams that are talking to each other. Not often are people in ranks trying to lose back corner kickoffs. What most teams are doing is, from BeastMode's perspective, they're half flipping and getting 100 boost, which I think happen very infrequently. Very infrequently in terms of how often you'll see teams that aren't working together do that. I think cheating up and playing special kickoffs, especially in a game mode that scores a little bit more often, is super critical, and BeastMode and Daniel did it well. But future Feer is done here. We're going to hop back in to previous Feer on the last take. Daniel slamming down another kickoff attempt as BeastMode looks to try and get resets to find an option. They've kept a completely clean slate. BeastMode slamming the ball off of that back wall. A little bit of a switch of positions for the first time as Daniel was looking to pressure, but quickly he becomes their last back. BeastMode looks to dive again where he feels most comfortable on offense. No boost, but wants to just push the ball at Kiileerrz, force him to make a save. Bit of a back pass, another defensive attempt from BeastMode where he plays from slightly behind the play. Seems like a very consistent strategy for them. BeastMode reset. Side flip actually forces a pretty miraculous save from Rw9. BeastMode will head all the way to the back corner. Just because these guys have somewhat set roles doesn't mean Daniel doesn't understand the right way to play. Just to chase down the ball from behind when you're playing 2v2. I think this is something that you can do in your 2v2 rank games as well. I think you might have a bit of a tough time depending on the level of your rank, because your random teammate might not be expecting you to chase the ball down from behind, might even yell at you to rotate, but I don't think that that's the right play. This is not just exclusive to how pros play. Daniel, a ton of movement on this reset. Switched off BeastMode's perspective, but we need to head back there as he looks to try and get a double, and because he gets that reset, he threatens all the way down. And if he didn't have a reset and he couldn't use a flip, he would have been challenged earlier, but they're trying to wait and react to be able to make that save and aren't able to. There's a fake kickoff from BeastMode and Daniel. Up 4-0 with a minute left to go. Still mixing up the kickoffs to try and stay in the lead. And that right there, I think, was the moment that it was secured. I mean, it might have already been secured, but Rw9 had a chance to boom that ball to an unsavable position in net. Daniel was there, but he was not going to be able to stop a well-placed shot with the amount of power you can get off that bounce. And instead, they just boom it over the top and allow a fifth goal. So Daniel and BeastMode, this was the final time that they were going to have to play 2v2, and they did it. They held off absolutely everyone. Not to spoil it, but we're not going to see 5 goals here from Rw9 and Kiileerrz, no matter how hard they try. The reverse dribble slowly winds down. So what do you guys think? Are Daniel and BeastMode the best duo in the world? Do you think it was just best of ones that they're good at? We haven't really got to see them against international competition. I think we've tried to set up 2s in the past between them and others in LAN, but when they have been at LAN, they've been more focused on that. And then times that they haven't been at LAN, I don't think they've been very interested in playing cross-server mode. So BeastMode and Daniel, a very aggressive playstyle matched with a very defensive one. And it works probably because BeastMode is BeastMode. At the end of the day, you might need to have a BeastMode on your team if you want to get as consistent wins. But I do think that playstyle is not completely impossible to match. Challenging from the ball, on the ball at all times, and having a bit more of a safety valve as your last back. BeastMode and Daniel, you'd love to see him play well.